Welcome. In this video, I'm going to speak to you about how you can overcome your defensiveness. Now, defensiveness is something that exists in all of us, and here I want to give you some points for reflection for what to do when it comes up inside of you and how to work with it and move through it. As defensiveness is something that holds all of us back in our growth and development, and also in the quality of relationships that we have. Before you go further in this video, I recommend that you take a moment, pause this video if needed, and reflect upon where defensiveness is showing up inside of you and in your life. This will help you to make this video something that supports your transformation and not just information. So once you are aware of where your defensiveness is coming up, let's move on with how to work with it. When you are defensive, you are protecting a certain part of yourself, and most likely it's a part of yourself that exists in your shadow, meaning that's a part that you reject or you deny, and you're probably doing this because either you don't think that it's a part of you, or you're ashamed that this part is there. So behind the defensiveness, there is shame and there is fear. And in this video, we are going to go deeper into those two emotions and lean into them. When you get defensive, quite often we focus on the other person. We look at what they said and what they did, and we tell some kind of story about it. If you are focusing upon them, and you are judging them, and you are making them wrong, and you are blaming them for how you reacted, then you are missing an opportunity to heal and to transform and to grow. So to support your own growth and healing, you want to shift your focus to what is being triggered inside of you. A lot of times when people go into this inquiry, we often have to sort through a couple of stories about the other person until we land in what it is in them that is being triggered. So be aware of this when you start to ask yourself this question: what is it inside of me that is being triggered? As it has nothing to do with the other person. You can also ask yourself, what is it that I'm protecting? This contemplation will often take you into two directions. You may find that there's a certain part of your image that you are trying to push forth, that you would like to be seen this way, and you don't want to be seen that way. When you can see clearly of how you want to be seen and how you don't want to be seen, again, you are getting in touch with your shadow, with the disowned parts of yourself. As we all have everything inside of us, and it's just about landing in the right circumstance to be able to pull that part of us out. So as you have gone into what is this triggering inside of me, what is it that I'm protecting, you can go deeper into this contemplation about what it is that you're protecting and why you're protecting it. So ask yourself, what am I afraid would happen if I owned this part of myself? Quite often, people are going to go into, I'm afraid of being judged, I'm afraid of being rejected or abandoned, I'm afraid of not being good enough or being unworthy of love, or I'm afraid that people are going to walk all over me. Whatever it is, try to identify the story or the stories that you're telling yourself about this part of who you are, or if you were to own this part, if you were to be this part, that it would have this kind of consequence. And once you do that, you've identified the story. Now it's time to question it. And for me, I like to use the work of Byron Katie to be able to question my stories. I find it to be the most effective method, especially because it gets to the underbelly of the beliefs. It's able to uncover what kind of things are underneath that are holding it up. And so it helps to disengage it from many different directions. I've created a free online course to teach you this method. You can access it through my website, and I'll put a link below for you to be able to get there easily. Now, quite often at the core of our defensiveness is a fear of rejection or a fear of abandonment. However, it can be hard to get in touch with that. So let me break this down a little bit more. The impulse to defend is because we do not feel safe. So I want you to look into, in what ways do you not feel safe? Your defensiveness is a subconscious attempt to stay loved and accepted. However, it often has the opposite effect, which is why we're doing this work. Now, some people, including myself, have a hard time getting in touch with this unconscious fear of abandonment and rejection, as it doesn't make sense to our logical mind. There's a part of us that knows I'm not going to get rejected if I am this way. But there's another part that does believe that this makes me unworthy of love, that I'm going to be rejected and abandoned. And this part is the one that is defending itself. This is the inner child, and this is the part that we want to get in touch with and uncover so that we can work with it and to heal it and transform it. So if you have a hard time getting in touch with this core fear of abandonment and rejection, and your defensiveness keeps coming up, sometimes it's easier to be held through this kind of inquiry. If you want that support, reach out and book a coaching session with me. I'm happy to help. 9 times out of 10, when I have proposed this idea that this defensiveness or this reaction is coming from this fear of abandonment, and a client will say, no, that's not it. Yet as we go into inquiry, 9 times out of 10, they then get in touch with it at a deeper level. So to summarize the points that I made in this video, when you are looking into your defensiveness, take accountability for how you respond to the stimulus, no matter how justified it is. Your reaction is still your reaction. And then you want to look inside of what caused you to react in this way. This is going to be old stuff in there, and old stuff that you're reacting to, what happened to you in the past. And so when you go within and you look and get in touch with that, you are now able to heal it. And then you're going to make it less likely for you to respond in a defensive way to that kind of stimulus in the future. If you continue to be defensive and justify your reaction and focus on the other person, then you're probably not going to do that deeper healing. And you're going to continue to react in this way each time a stimulus like this comes up in your life. And life has a very good way of helping us to grow, and it will continue to come up until you heal it. So I really recommend that you do this work. And you can do it by asking these questions. What is this triggering inside of me? What is it that I'm trying to protect here? And when you do that, then ask further question, what am I afraid would happen if I was to own this part of myself? As you identify those stories, then question your stories. So I hope that this was helpful for you of navigating through your defensiveness. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, and you think somebody else who has a defensive tendency would benefit from it and you want to share it with them, I encourage you to first do your work about your defensiveness before you tell somebody else to start working on their defensiveness. My teacher, Byron Katie, she says, whenever you think somebody else should do the work is when you should do the work. And then as you want to share this with them, share from a place of what you have discovered about yourself by going through this process. It's always easier to hear and to learn from other people rather than being told what we should do and what it is that we're doing wrong. I hope this video was helpful and inspiring and supporting you in living a more conscious and connected life. Please share in the comments below any questions that you have about this process and what you're taking away from this video. Also, please share it if you find that it's going to be helpful and inspiring for other people. And I will be making another video next week about part 2 of how you can go deeper into working with your defensiveness. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. And thank you.